Hey, welcome to Cascade Improv Podcast. This is Chas Kaskis.
This is Paul Furio.
And we are currently having a wonderful conversation with the one, the only Faith Perrenoud, an improviser around the city, a tech improviser, and one of the faces that you would recognize on... formerly known as, I was like FKA, right? No, it's got a name. Yeah. Formerly known as. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast, Faith.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How did you get into improv? What's your origin story?
I moved to Seattle and had been thinking for a really long time I wanted to get back into theater. I had lived abroad for many years, and there weren't many English-speaking opportunities where I was. And so I was kind of excited.
Which was?
I lived in Ireland, but that was only for a year. Then I moved to China for about 3.5 years, and then I spent some time in Germany.
Cool.
Yes. And I was back during the pandemic, so obviously we were all kind of itchy after the pandemic. But I'd been here for just about a year, and basically I was just like, can I do scripted theater anywhere? And the internet said, no, that's not something that casual people do. They do improv. And I was kind of like, oh, that thing that I hated in high school. Whenever we did improv in theater class, it was just so itchy and so just like, I didn't feel like I thought very fast. I didn't feel like I was funny like other people were. I didn't like to play freeze. Still, when I see people play freeze on stage, it's the worst thing in the world. Not because they're doing a bad job, just because I know that I can't do it. I'm on stage and I'm like, I don't know. I can't catch this. But anyway, so it's what it looked like I was going to do. And so then I signed up for a class, and just very immediately I was so happy to be there every week. And it was so energizing, and I wasn't looking at the clock. It wasn't an effort to leave the house to go to it. And so I just kept taking the classes. And I was really lucky that I made a lot of friends. And then, just got some great opportunities.
Cool. Who was your first teacher?
First teacher's Mark Schoen.
Mark Schoen. Oh, lovely.
It was really great. He was so supportive, and that class got dwindled down. It started as a full class. And each week we kept just losing people, because I don't know if that's common in 100. Everyone was having a great time each week. Yeah. I think just it was still right after the pandemic. And so people were a little bit probably nervous still to be out. And it just got dwindled down. And then I know the last 2 classes, it was like 4 or 5 people.
Wow.
And I loved it.
Really cool.
It was so nice to just feel like so safe. It was, I know it was me and Jack Skinner, who is still a very close friend of mine, and just like a couple other really nice people. And, we could just spend 2.5 hours, all of us performing over and over and over again, playing with each other. And I just felt good at the performing in a way that I never really thought that I would. Because I had taken such a long break. I hadn't really performed much in the 10 years since high school at that point. Wow. So I was just so happy that I felt really good about it.
Yeah, that's great. What were the things that, I guess I'm not sure how to ask the question, so I'll just sort of clunkily give it to you and see if you can answer the baked-in question there. But what was it about the 100 class that felt so freeing?
What a good question.
Oh, thank you.
That's the thing that people say when they don't know how to answer a question, right? Is what a good question. I don't think there was anything in that class that I hadn't learned before or played a game kind of like, or, nothing was mind-blowing. And maybe that was part of it, was this, I know this. I know how story works. I know how agreeing and building works. I know what being a team is. I know what eye contact and connection is. So it might have really just been this sense of like, I I do know how to do this. This is something that I have a foundation in and that I can probably like keep doing, and maybe I'll get good at it. So that might have been kind of what hooked me, was just a sense of confidence.
Yeah. You said you had a background in scripted work and in more traditional style theater. What did that look like?
You know, it was middle school and high school, and then I went to college for stage management.
Oh, interesting.
For 1 year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Still.
But yeah, I mean, I started doing community theater and kind of public speaking and acting competitions when I was in middle school. Went all in high school. Very much this is my identity. I am a theater kid. I, spend time in our theater teacher's classroom in between classes and after school, like I'll just hang out outside of rehearsals, even if I'm not in the show type of thing. We had what's called a forensics team, which is not dead bodies. It is competitive speaking and like competitive speech, debate, acting. It's like big in the Midwest and on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Yes. And so that's just like a big team that you're on that will have people who are really more on the debate side. It'll have people who, might want to be politicians at one point, and then it'll have a bunch of like theater people, because it's just a big range of different ways that you're competing and speaking in front of others.
Yeah.
And so the combination of, I think that I was like vice president of our International Thespian Society chapter, and then I was captain of our forensics team. It was everything to me.
Yeah.
And then that made it weird when I went to college and I was like, oh, well, I'll do stage management, because although I had been so involved as a high schooler, I never really was I was a big performer. I performed in everything. I didn't get big parts, right? And so it was very much like Faith is so capable. Faith is so organized. And I did some stage management and some tech, which I loved doing. And so that's what initially my major in college was that. And then after about a year, I was, I don't know, I guess just like ready to explore things as a 19-year-old.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how formative as like young artists that high school theater experience can be. And I hear that echoed by so many different people that I talk with of like, oh yeah, well in high school, I wasn't picked on the improv team, so I never thought I could do it ever again. In high school, I got leads. So then when I went to college and I wasn't getting leads, I was destroyed by that. Or, these, in high school, I only did tech and thought I was terrified of acting. And it wasn't until I was 35 and someone forced me on stage, and now that's all I do. It's so formative for young artists. And I think, speaking as a theater teacher myself, you have to be really careful about the opportunities you are granting and encouraging, and also where you're sort of like, I guess, being mindful of that role of gatekeeper, whether you are anticipating being a gatekeeper, whether you're trying to, or just accidentally, based off of the people you have around you, and some kid just is like, hey, sorry, you're not going to be lighting designer again this time. And it's not a you thing. We only have room for one lighting designer for this show, and someone beat you out, and like, how do you encourage versus where are you diminishing someone's like personal confidence and like that identity and such?
I know that my theater teacher was very intentional in a lot of his choices with who he's going to cast and how he does this and how he does that. But I think in kind of like a classic high school theater teacher way, he was so, I don't know, it was like he was such a big personality that sometimes he would, like in retrospect, I'm like, he was teaching a lesson there, but he was being a catty bitch when he was doing it. One thing, my older brother also, he did a lot of theater. He got a lot of lead roles. He's very talented. He would not show up to school, let alone an audition, in anything but pajamas. And that was like one of the times that our teacher, our director, like was like, I'm going to teach a lesson. I'm not going to cast him. Mm-hmm. And then everyone was like in uproar, and it's like, this is bullshit. This is this is that. And I was sitting there and I was like, Spencer, like, you are supposed to wear shoes. Like, I actually, like, he told you what to do. He gave that information to you. You should come to the audition dressed a little nice. And, but.
Yeah.
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 You mentioned doing tech, and we've sat side by side in the tech booth at UP many times. Tell me about that. Tell me about your interest there and what you like about it.
So, as I said, I did technical theater in high school, some in college. I love the flow, like, that you kind of get in when you're doing a show of, I don't know, like, you know, I know that when you're in a show and the cues are set and you're just going and you're going off of the cues, there's something that's really cool about that whole flow of it.
Yeah.
You're making the whole thing happen and no one even knows that you're doing it, right? But then, so I was interested in getting back in the booth, but I was like, I don't really know. But really it was like, I would sit watching shows and I would be like, no, why didn't the lights come down?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or like something would happen and I would be like, oh, that was so brilliant. Like I see how this made such a difference, you know, like I see how like that sound effect, I see how that projection, you know, like actually really enhanced what was going on. And so I just kind of wanted to be there. And I also I just wanted to be at the theater more.
Sure.
Right. I mean, and I was working a little bit in front of house. But you have to be so on, to work front of house. It's such a wonderful thing to be doing, but you have to be on and friendly, and you're doing this and you're doing that. And that wasn't really, I guess that I just wanted to be grumpy in the booth with everyone else.
Because no one front of house is ever grumpy, and we're so thankful for that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They're all so lovely.
Yeah, UP consistently has a reputation of having the friendliest front of house staff.
Yes.
We had a bartender, Brian Garby, God bless him. I officiated his wedding, but he was voted. He was voted the grumpiest bartender in Seattle.
Amazing.
And that came out. I think he was a little he was like, oh no. And he and Jay sort of had a conversation about that and such. And he was he was a little more chipper after that. Yeah. Brian Garby had one of my favorite laughs though in the theater. And I feel like there's always one or two people in the theater that you can point out their laugh whenever they're in the audience. And Brian Garby was one of those people. Yeah, Paul Furio, you are another one of those people.
And John Paul is the third.
John Paul.
Oh, John Paul.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have owned that. If I was voted the grumpiest bartender, I would have just been damn straight.
Just double down on it?
Double down on grumpy. That's it.
Paul, there's still time. You have your mask, right?
I do have my, yes.
Yeah.
I have my license. I've bartended there 3 times.
Yeah, you could be a real bastard.
I could. Yeah. I could be, but thankfully I'm not. Lights, projection, sound. What do you like doing best and why?
Lights.
Yeah.
I like to end the scene. I like to be this is done. Please stop.
Is it the control or is it the setting the scene?
You know, it's both. I love being able to do the different fun lights, with the new board, there's so many different things that we can do. It's also a lot of things that maybe we could still work on fixing, right? But no, it's, I like doing all of that, but there was one theater sports show where the first scene of the night, I think that it was a scene in a small space. I don't know the name of that game, but that's what it is. So I just had the spotlight and I had it just in the aisle of the theater, between the seats in the aisle. And it was Shannon and I think Connor, and the get must have been giraffe or something, but it was basically, and then it was okay, Connor's the giraffe and Shannon is next to the giraffe and she's very clearly a person, and they didn't speak and they just looked at each other and did things that giraffes and people do. And then they were
Which is not a euphemism. That's just genuinely what people in drafts do. Not like
it was. And then, like, they were both leaning in for a kiss.
I think giraffes do. Yeah, giraffes and people do.
Giraffes and people do when in close proximity. And I just pulled the lights. And so that scene was, like, maximum 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was the most exhilarating thing. It was so great. The audience loved it. Ashley was host, and she like wouldn't stop talking to me about it for ages.
Ashley Flanagan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's lovely.
I love a good blackout scene, and we don't get to see them nearly enough. I am so glad to hear that you found a blackout scene and jumped on it as well. Because sometimes there's scenes where I'm like looking at it, I'm like, that's a blackout scene, but no, we missed the moment. You know, like they happen from time to time.
I think that like there are just these cues for me where I kind of like know that the audience is going to love that thing almost happened that we all knew was going to be bad. And sometimes maybe you want the bad thing to happen, but I personally think that the audience gets a real kick out of that. So I don't know if you know this, but there's one cast member at UP who sometimes likes to bait people into saying words that they really, really shouldn't say.
Have we had this person on our podcast? Would that be Isaiah Harris?
It would be Isaiah Harris. Yeah.
And that word would be
He and I were it was Obadiah and I were in a duo together, and we got put at the very end, and this was we were actually just talking about this duo recently, and Obadiah had decided we were going to play every game that people had rejected doing that night, and so I think it was Shannon. I don't remember who was host for that duos, but someone was host, and they would ring the bell, and then we would switch to another game that someone else had rejected, and switch and switch and switch and switch, and so it was kind of this like game roulette. And at one point in time, it was we got a movie director. And they go, and Isaiah Harris in the back, come on down. You're going to be the director for this. And he gets on the microphone and he looks me dead in the eyes. He goes, all right, yeah, as director, the next word out of Chaz's mouth is going to be the N-word. And you could just feel the whole audience, just the heat went up on everyone. It's like, it's all eyes on me. And I'm like, and I just sat there. It was what a pregnant pause. I sat there for a second, just looking around like, what do I do with this? And I finally look at him and I just go, nope. Blackout, right? Yeah.
Yep.
perfect.
Yeah.
What are the things that you are looking for from the ensemble on stage when you're doing lights versus what are the things that you feel that you have? I know it's a spectrum, but what are the offers that you're getting from stage versus what are the offers that you feel like very confident or feel like the offers that you are able to like give that are like almost like unmistakable in a way, such as like a blackout would be like an unmistakable offer. But the things that like you can give, such as, and I'll give a little bit more context. Like I know that when someone's doing sound, that they're able to like provide sound effects, and those are things that like generally the cast is like, oh, we have to respond to this, we have to listen to this offer. And with lights, it can be a little bit more subtle. What are some of those things that the offers that you're looking for from the cast versus offers that you're giving to the onstage improvisers? Yeah,
I think that one example that's really great right now is that we're doing Spellbound. And so there's a lot of like, oh, we're doing magic, or like the setting is going to be like this. And so from a narrative long form type of perspective, that show is excellent for like me listening and being like, okay, I know where this next scene is. Or like in the moment, they have like kind of choreographed where it's like, oh, if we like raise our hand, there's going to be magic. But, it's more just about kind of like listening what's going on. Like, oh, they're saying this is going to happen. They're saying that's going to happen. One of my favorite things to do for that show is that often the protagonist will have some kind of a magic that's kind of small, but is like within them. And so I love pulling one focused light on them when it works. And so there will be like very much 3 beats. Doesn't work, and then works, right? And I love being able to have that visual cue for everyone. And so that sometimes is like the light from the side of the stage, sometimes it's one of the kick lights, but it's just very clear to the audience and it feels really magical in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in a theater sports scene, it's just kind of like, sometimes it's fun to guide the actors throughout the stage, right? And just, see if maybe I can like push them more over here, you know, or like push them in the other direction.
Yeah. What do you mean by guide the actors on stage?
You know, sometimes, especially in a theater sports scene, when things are getting really silly, I know that there have been times where someone is moving, they're like, oh, we're going to move to like, you know, this room. And they just say it and then they stay in the same place. And so then I like to kind of pull down and then maybe just like, but gently, you know, kind of like be like, maybe they'll move, maybe they'll move over. You know, and the audience kind of likes that. But sometimes also the actors don't see that because it is subtle. And then they're standing in the dark. So,
Yeah.
I can hear Jeff yelling, "Find the light."
I know. That's such a tricky balance. Of sometimes, you know, you are just like, no, like I set up this nice light for you. I set up this nice light. It's so pretty. It's right here. But like if, like we're just ruining everyone's experience if we are being really stubborn about that. You know, you just kind of, at one point, you need to light the stage. Right.
Yeah.
It's a balance. It's a collaboration. But it's not. It's like improv. It's imperfect, right? People are not always going to get every offer.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my first lighting designer instructor said that if you have one role that you have to do as a lighting designer, it's make sure that the audience can see the actors. And everything else is secondary to that. And I was like, right? And like, sometimes the actor just doesn't move, right? And especially in improv, it's not like we can block them, right? It's not like they're following any stage directions that a director has given them. So it's like, all right, I guess you're you're there.
Directors have been really good though, and I know that Tony has been specific and mentioned this, and there are lines, like specifically on the UP stage, it is like if it's like more proscenium lighting, it's more like, oh, this is a theatrical scene, then probably if you're within that little proscenium at the back, right? Then the light, you're going to be in really good light. And then if you're outside of that, then you're on the periphery. Right? And so it is like, if you can just check yourself on that, and actors have been like getting a little bit better at that. And also when we're trying to do isolated lights, you know, directors are getting much better at saying like, this is the line. If you stand like, because it is quite clear, it's just where that wall ends. Right?
As the person who hung those lights, I know exactly where they are.
You're not just a technical improviser, you're also a performing improviser. Before we get into your primary troupe, like just tell me about what you like doing on stage, like what excites you, what draws you to, or we're about to get on stage tomorrow night for our show, which will be after the time this releases. But like, what do you look forward to for? I'm going to do something. What do you hope to accomplish?
You know, I like doing. I don't know. I think that when I first kind of like joined and started going to shows at UP, it was this magical thing of like they're making up a whole play. Whenever there's like a narrative long form type of thing. And I've had a lot of fun doing that with like The Haunting at UP, and then Actually Love at Comedy Sports, Sports Ball at Comedy Sports. It's been really fun to do that because that brings out the like actor kind of in me, and also like the storyteller and the writer and the technician, you know, and that's somewhere where being in the booth, I think, has helped inform me of how to kind of carry a story and how to bring a scene to an end.
Yeah.
And kind of like make those hints that it's like, all right, like now we can move on. Like find that button, find that thing that's going to lead us into what is happening next. And that's all just magic. And so like when I've been in a show that feels like we've successfully done that, it's just so amazing. And then, but yeah, I mean, overall, it's like when people are just like laughing and having fun, and when I'm on stage with a bunch of people and I know that we're all having so much fun together and we all trust each other and we're just trying to make each other laugh, that's always just kind of where it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Did Mark Schoen also give you the comment about being good at scene tending?
Tell me about that.
I also had 100 with Mark Schoen, who, if you're not aware, grew up in the same town as me.
Oh.
But is 12 years older than me.
Coast.
Yes.
Yeah, East Coast.
I did not realize that till class 4. But so yeah, sometime during 100, he was just like, Paul, you're really good at scene tending. Like, you're really good at looking around and seeing, what does the scene need? And, at 100, we're not really thinking about story. But I, like you, was thinking like, oh, well, what are we missing? How do we bring this to an end? What's the, where are we in some kind of arc? So I like that. It's one of the things I like being on. One of the things I like about being on stage with you is that I can trust you a lot to kind of map out like, okay, what are the offers? Where could this be going? How is this interesting? And there's always been a very fun interplay.
Yeah.
So, to that point of like trusting your fellow performers, like, yeah, there's always 100% trust when like, oh, I get to be on stage with Faith. Fun.
Yeah. Same to you.
Yeah,
It's always
thanks.
really nice.
Tell us about FKA. How did that form?
So, my indie troupe, formerly known as, we went through, I believe that we all were in 500 and 600 together. And then when 600 ended, our dear Sonnet, she just started kind of inviting people to TPS to practice. And it was just, she was inviting the whole class, right? And that was such a lovely and wonderful and awesome thing to just start doing so that everyone could still keep practicing, and contribute like $3 a pop or something.
Yeah.
So it was really fun. And then at one point, we'd been doing that a few times. I went to a few of them, and I don't know exactly what happened, but it was one of those where I kind of like received a text that was like, hey, you've been coming to like the Wednesday thing. Do you want to come to the Tuesday thing?
What's the Tuesday thing?
And the Tuesday thing was just like a few other people, because it wasn't exclusively people from that class.
Yeah.
Like Mark Church was there. A couple other people were there, and it was a little more consistent. It was more of a like, hey, like if you want to come, we actually want to be doing this consistently.
Yeah.
And it was, again, just a practice group. It was just like we're hanging out, but it was more with the idea of like, but we want to grow, we want to get better.
Yeah, a familiar story.
And then, throughout the summer, all of a sudden, it was like, what if we did a show? What if we came up with a name, right? What if we, did a format that wasn't just like montage or something? And we played around with a few different things before we landed on what our current thing is, and we're still playing around a lot.
Yeah.
But it just kind of snowballed. And then, we had people, we had like more people, and then we had less people, and then now we have the 5 of us, and, it's not that, like, I think that we'll probably want to add more people, but at the moment, we just love each other so much.
Yeah, nice.
It's just so nice.
Before I dig for gossip on your coworkers, because you said at the start you totally want to do that, what were some of the formats that you considered and then rejected when you were coming up with what formerly known as does?
We were back and forth a lot on, like, do we want to do something that's narrative? Do we want to do something that's, like, montagey?
Yeah.
And, I think what was really funny is that there was one time we did a montage, and then at the end of it, I was like, wow, that was a really great narrative that we just did. Like, we didn't even plan for it to be narrative, and everyone was like, Faith, that was nonsense. Like none of those things were related, but I had created a whole like arc in my head of how each of the scenes, I was like, no, because like we came back as this, don't you remember? Like, but yeah, you know, like we did a couple of montages. We did, you know, like a true Armando with Kent at Jules May, which was fun. And then at one point we early on tried to say, oh, we're going to do like, I guess you'd call it just like an unstructured herald, but we didn't do like the static walk or anything, but it was just kind of like, we'll do scenes and we'll do monologues and like some stories and, you know, people will just step forward if they want to do a monologue. And what we learned from that is that we like to play together.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think we didn't have so many, none of us were really itching to be like, and now it's my monologue time. Every time that it was like, oh no, like someone has to do a monologue.
Yeah.
And everyone did a lovely job, but it's just not what we wanted to do.
Yep.
Right? We like to play with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that transition to narrative, and I love that story about what I've found is people who are taking it seriously, who are there to focus, there to be learned, not there to say like, oh yeah, I'm an adult and I just get to goof around in someone's basement or on a stage somewhere or whatever it winds up being.
Paul, can we play in your basement more?
Yes, you're welcome anytime.
It's really nice basement.
Yeah, that's over there, which people cannot see on the podcast, but there is a couch and a large performance area and some video games which are turned off, like actual arcade consoles. But yeah, no, this is when Happily Would Ever After, which is my troupe, rehearses. Like we do it, we literally come right down here and sit on the other side of this room, aside from the podcast recording section. And yeah, it's good. It's a good space to just be silly, and it's stage sized enough.
Yeah. We do stuff a lot at John Paul's apartment complex. He just has like one of those random party rooms that you can rent out. And so that's where we will meet a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, we just hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So such a talented troupe. Jean Paul, Sonnet, Jack. James.
Yeah.
And then of course Faith. Yeah, tell me about I actually want to know about the Scooby-Doo show, which I thought I saw and was amazing. You had guests, you had the Root Brothers, you had multiple other guests. Tristan was in that show.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few other performers I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
Like, tell me about, because you typically do a movie format for what you do. So tell me about like the research that you did, because you hit, I think what was wonderful about the Scooby-Doo show, not only that it was a joy to watch, but it hit so many of the Scooby-Doo tropes.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like, how many fucking episodes did you watch to get like, oh yeah, this is what they do, and this is what they do, and this is what they do, and this is what makes Scooby-Doo. Yeah.
You know, we did sit down, and that was another one. Like, we all went to, I think it was John Paul's apartment, and we like squeezed onto the couch because we love being as close as possible to each other. John Paul, he always sits in the middle. Every car ride, he sits in the back in the middle. On the couch, he sits in the middle. He wants to be in the middle, which is funny because he's the tallest. And yeah, we watched a ton, and I don't know if you know this about Scooby-Doo, but there's a lot of iterations of it, right? There's the like original from what, like the 60s or something.
The original Hanna-Barbera, right?
Yes, the original like Hanna-Barbera from like the 60s. There's like, you know, in there's like Scrappy-Doo. You know, at one point there's his whole show. There's a show where it's like the Scooby-Doo kids. When I was a kid, I watched that one a lot. That's where I learned the term red herring, because there was a character named Red Herring. And I remember one time being I don't know if it was my mom or my brother, but I was like, it's so annoying because the show always makes me think that Red Herring is the bad guy. And so,
let me teach you something good. It was there all along.
Yeah, but so for the show, we watched some of the Hanna-Barbera. We watched some of the newer ones that were from like the 2000s. It has like Matchbox 20 did the theme song, which is very fun. And we watched one of the live action movies. And it was nice to see the differences between all of those. Especially like really in the female characters, because definitely got to see some of the like original like 1960s where everyone is pretty one-dimensional. But it's very like, particularly like, I think Daphne is still like smart. She's got the head on her shoulders and all of that, but she's played a little bit more ditzy. And in the more modern ones, particularly the cartoon from the early 2000s, she's the head, right? She is always actually figuring out the fix. She's identifying what's wrong. Kind of like MacGyver style. She'll pull out like lipstick, a mirror, and a ribbon and solve the mystery that way, which is really fun. And, you know, in that one, and then Velma is still, you know, the very intelligent, kind of like mousy, booky one, but it's almost in this way where she gets in her own way because she's so into the like, well, no, like this is like, according to my calculations, like, but I read in this book, like, look, this tome, and she's not really seeing the forest through the trees, which was really fun to play.
Yeah.
Because I played Velma and Sonnet played Daphne, and it was very fun to play this character who it's like, I'm playing someone who's highly intelligent, but not really aware of a lot of things. And then that made for some really fun dynamics between the two of us.
I would have a lot of trouble playing that character because it's nothing like me at all.
No.
Yeah, if there's one thing I know about Paul, it's intelligent and bookish are just like...
And aware.
You know, so, you know...
I'm so aware. Yeah. I'm the least socially awkward guy you'll ever meet.
So you all... so the five of you take the roles of...
Yes.
Of the Scooby-Doo gang, the Mystery Incorporated, right?
Correct. Yeah, because there's five people in the mystery. There's 5 people in the mystery gang, and yeah, there's 5 of us in FKA, and so it just, I don't know how we decided we were going to do it. You know, it was just a slow burn, probably of like, well, James always plays animals. If we need an animal, it's gonna be James, and. So it was like, oh yeah, like, you know, and James would be Scooby, and then John Paul just is Shaggy.
Yeah.
You know, that's just like what he embodies at all times. Jack is such a good boy. So who else could be Fred?
Yeah.
He's the perfect Fred.
Yeah.
And then we had 2 ladies.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
How do you guys costume towards it? You do.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. So this was a specific Halloween show that we did last year. We decided we were going to do Scooby-Doo, and yes, so we all like costumed towards it. Some people more literal than others. James was in full Scooby costume.
He had like the ascot and everything. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, it's really
So good.
But no, we all like went to thrift stores, like found what we could. But it looks pretty good. And so for it, we did 2 shows, and one of the shows we did 2 20-minute episodes, and the other show we did one longer, like 40-ish minute episode. But we had us as the gang, and then Rainey Morris, Tristan Morris, and Jeffrey Kranz all were our kind of...
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were like our flex characters. And so they were everyone else that you see in a Scooby-Doo episode. The park ranger, the professor, and then one of them was the bad guy at the end. And additionally, we had Sam Claney and Thomas Corey. They have their own duo, the Root Brothers. And so they came out, and they were like our... you know, like introductory radio host type thing, like ahead of, you know, different shows and specials. Someone comes out and is like, we're the celebrities who are going to like do our little bit and then intro the show. And so we had them do it. And then in the longer version, we had them come out as like guest stars, a la, who's the basketball team that was like on
The Harlem
Scooby-Doo?
Globetrotters were on Scooby-Doo all the time.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah. And Casey Kasem, but I mean, like, he also voiced Shaggy, but he would like occasionally be on as himself. Yeah.
Sonny and Cher.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, man. Yeah, I grew up with this. Sorry, this is way back in the memory banks here. But yeah.
Yeah, so those they came on as themselves.
Yeah.
You know, because they're huge celebrities.
Yeah, right.
So
They are.
yeah. We were trying to figure out how we get like applause on the screen when they come out to make it clear that it's like, no, like you all know who this is.
Right.
Like we looked over and we were like, oh my God, it's the Rude Brothers.
Yeah.
So cute. That's
It's so
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
What is your guys' process in developing long form?
So specifically for Scooby-Doo, we watched a lot of episodes and we identified, we were like, we want this to be shorter and we want it to be fast and we want to kind of hit these beats but also have fun.
Yeah.
And so for that one, it was much more structured than the other shows that we normally do. In that, we just said like, well, the first scene has to be in the mystery machine and then that's where we're going to get to the place where the show is going to be. And then it's one of those where, well, we have to know that there will be clues along the way. And there's going to be like a reveal at the end of who the bad guy is, right? Yeah.
Which was done excellently with the swap out at the last minute. It was so
Don't
brilliant.
spoil it. We're doing it again.
Oh, great. Well, people will forget by the time the show comes on. But yes, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Yes. So that was how we structured it. And then, like in that, as Paul was saying, we hit a lot of the tropes. We were like, oh, well, at one point, like, probably Daphne should get kidnapped. Velma should lose her glasses. Shaggy should eat something ridiculous, right? I think Fred always has a plan, was the thing. So we didn't say we had to hit that in every single episode. It was one of those where try to sprinkle a few in, right? Because everyone notices them and loves them and thinks they're very fun. But the normal show that we actually do that we like take to festivals or we do it as like guest spots is a 20 to 25 minute movie. And so for that, a lot of our prep at this point is watching movies. We, just have been, I mean, I guess similar to Scooby where it's like, we'll watch movies and we'll just talk about the things that seem like that's a trope of that genre. Because from the audience, we like to get a genre. We like to get like, what are some things that you need to see in that genre? But we want to also have like a big bank in our heads of what are some things that the audience is going to love and what are some things that are going to just make us look like polished and knowledgeable. And so, we watched like Poseidon's Adventure and, we talk about what are the like weird disaster movie things that you see, like, oh, there's like a leader, there's probably someone religious, like, someone that you grow really attached to dies at the very end doing something very heroic, like all these kind of different things that you might see in that. We watch like buddy cop movies. We just sit down and we'll watch those movies and kind of point them out. And then we just get on our feet and we just play. Yeah.
What are the things that you have discovered that make a format that is specifically we're doing an improvised cinema different than an improvised play versus an improvised book versus an improvised et cetera, right? Like, what is it that makes that unique? What are some of the things that you guys are building or making sure are in that show?
Jez, that's a really good question. No, one of the things is the transfers
I try and ask really good questions.
The transitions between scenes. And it's something that we're trying to work on because kind of we'll start out the set doing this very well. And then at one point we're just doing cut to, cut to, cut to. But the idea of doing like, we pan out, like we zoom in, the camera sweeps across, having more of those, you could call them like scene painty, but, for the sake of, we're looking at something more cinematic, like shot collie. Of what's the camera doing, how are we seeing things, and that's part of what we're trying to do to make it seem more specific.
Using like framing conventions as editing and like sort of directing your audience instead of directing the actors all the time.
I know at our last rehearsal someone said we need to figure out how to block a trunk shot.
Like the trunk of a car?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, hey, if you've got bodies being stuffed into a car, how are you going to show that on stage?
Guns and cash being pulled out, right? Like, trunks are not just for dead bodies.
Yeah, that's that for you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm very versatile with my
I've
trunk.
got one thing in my trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
not
tire
guns.
iron. Okay.
Or tire iron or drugs or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I keep my spare tire right here. There's so many people who listen to this who are students or new improvisers or people trying to think about how to form their own troupe. Talk to me about like the responsibilities in your troupe, like who does what, or how do you figure out like, because I have found not everyone can do everything. And I'm kind of curious, like, how do you manage the dynamics of FKA? How do you make sure that like who directs when you're doing rehearsal or who give notes? Like, is it egalitarian? Is it like, oh no, like, you know, and usually it's Sonnet is like gives the best notes, so she often like whatever it winds up being. I'm kind of curious about, you know, how you make it functional.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people struggle with, and then how it works for you.
So we have a hard rule. We do not give each other notes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's not our place. It's not something that we do for each other. And that is why when we know that we are going to want that kind of feedback, we call in someone else. And so we've paid for coaches, right? You know, Shannon has come and coached for us. Jacqueline has come and coached for us. We want to get Tony in. We have someone else do that job. And we prefer to have that someone else be someone who we can all point to as like, we all trust this person. We all like really respect this person. This person's very knowledgeable. And this person also like knows us.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think that last part has to be so important, but it's nice when the person knows us all at least equally. So if we were to get someone in who maybe wasn't a person who had like directly been our teacher, who we like worked with extensively, I think that we would prefer to have someone who at least like we're all on semi-equal footing with.
Sure.
Right? But yeah, in terms of how we get feedback, we don't give it to each other unless it's like, I loved this.
Yeah.
And we do that all the time.
Yeah.
We are always calling out like, this was so amazing. I love this so much. Wow. Like I was dying when that thing happened.
Yeah.
We are always trying to lift each other up doing that because, I mean, again, like we're friends.
Yeah.
And that's what, not only is that like, you know, the most important thing is friendships, but that's what makes us work on stage is the fact that like we all really like each other and we get along. And so if we do something that compromises that, then our show sucks too. So yeah. And then in terms of, you know, how we book shows, how we do practices, that is tricky. And that is something where we all are so enthusiastic about it that luckily it's like not pulling teeth to say, hey, we got to rehearse. Hey, we have to do this. Hey, you know, like, do we want to put in for a show? None of that is pulling teeth.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that, like, admin takes, like, Sonnet does so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sonnet does so much, and we all want to be doing it as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, if you can't have everyone doing the admin, then to have one person who is like willing to kind of take the lead on it, someone has to do it. Yeah. Ideally, everyone's pitching in.
Yeah.
But also, sometimes one person's just really good at it and does it faster than anyone else.
A few weeks ago, we had Bonnie Kate Wolf on our podcast, and we asked her like top 3 things about being a director, and 2 of them were managing a Google Calendar.
Yep.
And she named some website that I've looked at, but can't remember the name of, that is like allows you to make micro websites for whatever. And I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
like you have your technology organization down. Perfect. So
It's
important.
huge.
Someone's got to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about traveling? FKA travels, and so what does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, so we, as a group, have traveled mainly within Washington. You know, we've performed in Bellingham, we've performed in Spokane, and, you know, that often looks like, can we all sleep in one big bed? And then the answer is no. we all want to do it. We all say we're going to do it every time, and then
but John Paul would be in the middle.
Of course, John Paul would be in the middle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's only so many California Kings and Airbnbs. So
There's not a big enough bed quite yet.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe one day. Quite yet. We are going to Bellingham this weekend, and it will be the first time that we're all staying in the same room. We got a suite.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we're excited for that. But, you know, I don't know what to say about like when we're going to those festivals, because we just go and we just goof around.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's the admin of like, hotel rooms and everything. I mean, for that, a lot of the time we're going also with other groups that are like also friends. And so we might, like Morris might be going, Rude Brothers might be going. And so a lot of the time we can coordinate rides and all of that with them. But yeah, we just go and
Are you telling me you guys
around.
don't have a mystery machine that FKA has that you don't all just pile on in and go to festivals?
Tristan is trying.
That's
That's great.
It's all he wants.
That's all he wants. Heard.
Yeah.
Stay away from the Econoline.
If you can get him a VW bus,
Yeah.
he'll fix it up.
They've got those wild looking electric ones.
For like 120,000 maybe?
Yeah.
Well, with all the improv money.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy.
Yeah, no problem. Buy two.
Do you guys ever do ticketed shows?
Yeah, no, we used to do them all the time. We did them at the Rendezvous.
Okay.
And we used to have a monthly show at the Rendezvous, which was fantastic. And we did charge tickets because we would have other groups on, and then those groups, we would pay those groups, you know,
Yeah.
like they come in, like they're doing this great show, we're all having a good time, and then we would pay them out. And then kind of our share of it went into doing the next one.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
Because there's a lot that goes into that. There's, there's just a lot of work that kind of goes into that. And then you got to pay for like ad space. You might have to buy materials. You have to do this. You have to do that. So, applying to festivals, like it's funny how quickly the money that you might earn just goes right back into, actually just still performing and having fun. But no, we used to do those all the time. But, you know, typically if we're hosting a show, we do charge for tickets.
Yeah.
And that money goes right back into the group.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. I think that's the best way to do it. Do you guys have a, now I'm just getting into the business side of it. As someone, because I own my own improv company, Clergy of Errors, and managing all the money there and such.
Yeah.
Is it sort of one person who holds the purse on that, or is it a?
That would be Sonnet.
Yeah, totally.
No, that would be Sonnet. We're working on. I know that we're working on getting that into like an LLC type of situation.
Okay.
Right. Cool. But yeah, for now, she is the owner of the spreadsheets.
Sure.
Right.
Yep. I know it well.
Oh yeah, and we all have access to all of it. It's just she's the one who actually does it.
Does it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, now I feel bad.
Someone has to do it. And it's really, really hard to do spreadsheets by committee.
Yeah.
So, like, God bless Sonnet.
Yeah.
God bless Sonnet for doing it.
Truly.
But one person has to do it.
Yeah.
Multiple people in, you're going to get weird issues.
Yeah.
I like that division of labor. Like, I refuse to book shows because weird thing about me, I hate talking to people. And specifically, I hate talking to people on the phone. and that's off, and like following up on emails and all that stuff.
You
like,
say a lot of millennial things,
Yeah.
but that might be the most millennial thing I think I've heard you say.
I do actually hate talking on the phone.
As someone who's Gen X, you're a millennial.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I can like order food online, I will do it. If I have to call someone and say like, I want beef with broccoli, like I hate it. I'll just pick Italian instead.
That is so
like,
funny.
I'll
I
do
am
something
the
else.
absolute opposite.
Yeah.
I cannot stand, like anytime I'm like, I have to order this online, I'm like, but what about the nuances? I want to be able to talk with this person and have like a full-on goddamn conversation with them.
No, I want exactly what's on the menu and no modifications. That's it. Like I don't want to make it complicated.
I want to ask questions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Are there onions on it? Right? Because I don't like onions.
That's the question.
A lot of the time that's not listed.
See, I grew up in a household where like if you don't eat what's put in front of you, you were punished. So like whatever it comes with, I will just take. So yeah.
I just want to be able to have a human conversation with him. And maybe there's something to be said about the fact that I grew up with a dad who owns a small business.
Sure.
And just sort of the amount of just sort of like, oh yeah, I went over to this paint store and I just talked with them and they went, oh, we love your donuts. Yeah. We'll give you a little friends of the business discount. Like the amount of just like having person to person connection and human interaction, like how much that just like, it just makes things easier. Yeah. To me, that's what it's all about. And if I'm like having to do things online, I'm like, I'm getting screwed somehow.
Yeah. I hate that like you can't buy anything in stores. Nothing's in stores anymore. It always really bothers me because, I can't try things on.
Yeah.
Why is it that every time I go to a store and I'm like, I have to buy like the one swimsuit that I buy every 5 years, and they're like, go online, and I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've heard in my life.
Clothing is different. I will talk to people for clothing, but yeah. The point was like for my troupe, someone else does something, right? Like there's a division of labor, and the one thing I won't do is I won't book shows. I understand the like, someone owns the purse, someone else does this other thing, someone books the coaches, whatever it is. But like I get it. I think if everyone assumes everyone has to do everything, it's just a disaster.
Yeah, John Paul is the face.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, perfect. He's the face. He's the charm.
He's the laugh.
Yeah,
he's the laugh.
He's the laugh of the company.
Yeah.
Chaz was asking about travel. You just went to the UK recently.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, Sonnet and I, we went to Belfast. We went to the Belfast Improv Festival and we performed there. The way that we ended up there. So first of all, Sonnet and I both lived in Ireland at different times before we knew each other, but we both have spent a good time there. And we both love it. It's the best place in the world. I think both of us would have stayed there if, there weren't like visa things.
Sure.
Yeah. But so I went back 2 years ago-ish. It was my first time back in 10 years. And I was like, well, I'm going back on my own and I'm going to like go to improv shows and I'm going to meet people and I'm going to talk to them because no one knows who I am. They don't know that, like I'm not in an ensemble yet. They don't know this or that. So I'm just going to go and kind of like chat with people. And so I got there and that's just what I did. And so one of the shows that I went to, they brought me right up on stage, just as like a little kind of guest spot, just as like a contestant on like the little game show, right? Because they were just like, you're from America. And then afterwards I was like, I'm so sorry, like I'm a performer. And they were like, oh my God, tell me more about it. Because, like as a performer, you don't necessarily want to be like giving suggestions or doing this or that. But, like then just met people. They were super fun. Went to a different show and I was like, I'm going to be a little more bold now. And I'm just going to tell them and be like, can I play a game with you guys? Yeah. And so did that. That was amazing. It was super fun. But then the funnier thing was I went to Belfast. I was only there for one night. And I just bought tickets to a narrative show. Yeah. They were doing Improv X-Files. And so I was just like, oh, I'm going to buy a ticket. I was like on a tour with this girl. And so I just met her and I was like, hey, do you want to come too? And she was like, yeah, that sounds really great. And then I bought the tickets. And then like 3 minutes later, I got an email from the person selling the tickets. And he was like, hey, I didn't recognize your name. And so I looked you up on Instagram and it looks like you're a performer. Do you want to just like come join?
Wow.
Like, he's like, if you want, you can just like, come to this bar, be here at like 6:30. And we'll just like walk through stuff. Don't worry, like, it's a musical, but like you don't have to sing and like you don't have to know the X-Files, because I did not know the X-Files. But he was like, just like come by. And so I did, and then I was just like in their 2-act X-Files musical.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it was so fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. And then afterwards, like, we just like hung out, like got some drinks, and yeah, it was the same thing, just like more connections. And I don't know, that was like such a substantial connection because it was so random. And then the like person who's the director who invited me, like we were chatting, and he also had like lived in China for a while. And there's just such a like kindred spirit to that.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, it's just such an interesting experience to kind of share with someone. And so, yeah, then when Sonnet was like, I want to go, then we were like, well, we should submit to a festival. And then I'll just like, message this guy and he'll probably get us in some way or another. Right.
Yeah.
And he, also because we're awesome,
Yeah.
but having a connection is always good. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But no, then we performed on the last night, and it was so fun because it was just the two of us. We'd never done 20 minutes, just the two of us together.
Fun.
And yeah, we were in such a rhythm. We were in such a like eyes locked, like knew everything that was happening. It was kind of like at one point, like she obviously killed me. And it was the thing where
Obviously. When I think of improv between the two of you, I think murder. Faith's gonna die.
Yeah. But it was such a funny, because like I could clock exactly when I was like, there's a moment where I thought that I was gonna kill you, and then I realized, no, you're gonna kill me. But it was like we were so in sync with each other that kind of like we could figure that out. And she was talking about how, there's one moment, like we ended up doing like a psychological thriller type thing. And then at one point, so I morphed from one character into another character. And then at the end of it, she was like, I was hoping that you would do that. Like, which always just feels so amazing. To be like, oh, we had that wonderful connection. Especially after spending like a full week together. And man, I can be so mean sometimes. I can get so grumpy when I'm with the same person for too long. And so I was like so respectful of her like bearing with me through that, because I know that it was like, I know that at one point I was difficult to be around. And so to be able to like have that wonderful ending to like the classic Friends trip, where it's like someone is just like for some reason always grumpy, was really, really nice. Because it was, again, she had done all of the planning and I had no right to ever be grumpy. She did so much, and she's so wonderful, and she's so patient.
When you are on stage, what are the thoughts when like lights come up? You get your suggestion, lights come up. What are the things that you are like thinking of right now as an improviser?
That's a really good question.
I was waiting for that.
There was one time I think that I was describing to John Paul why I don't like the game freeze. We discussed this. I don't like the game freeze. You're standing in a line, like these people are doing a scene, and you have to like enter in. You have to, choose this time or that time and like position and all of that. And then, I think that, he was like, oh, well, what I'm doing is I'm like looking at approximately where their bodies are, but I'm still like listening for like a good button. But, like I am thinking, and, like he had this whole thing, and I was like, it's all screams. Like in my head, it's all screams. Like
everything is screams. Yeah. No. Yeah.
It's so like we were just at a festival, and I was in a workshop with a couple people from Bellingham, Michael and Jesse, who are wonderful. They're Murder Fairy and Arson Leprechaun.
Yeah.
We love them.
Yeah.
And they were describing this thing of like, okay, yeah, so like some tricks are like if you get a suggestion, then, you know, you can think about the things that surround the suggestion. So I like to think of 3 things. So if I get Starbucks, then I think of like unions, bad coffee, like at Space Needle, right? You know, whereas like other people might, you know, and I was like, oh, so when you get the suggestion, you can think about other things.
Yeah.
You don't have to just then like start doing the scene and then keep thinking back to, or like start doing the scene and be like, well, the first line was it, and I just have to like hope that we stick to it.
Yeah.
So it was funny because I've been doing it for a while, and I didn't know that you didn't just like scream until it was time to talk. I didn't know everyone didn't do that.
If I ever wind up playing Freeze with you, I'm going to when I'm on stage, I'm just going to scream constantly.
Yeah, all I'll do is
I
scream.
love that. I'll join you.
Yeah, I'll just, it'll be existential horror.
It is also my favorite thing to do on stage is just, if there's a reason for me to just start screaming.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Have you seen Blood Squad?
No, I want to.
Alicia Wickstead has the greatest horrified scream out of anyone I've ever met.
Nice.
Improviser and otherwise. And it is yeah, it will trigger your nervous system in the best of ways. Yeah. So if Alicia Wickstead, you're listening to this, you have the best horror scream ever. And I'm jealous.
There's the Wilhelm scream, and then there's the Wickstead scream.
And then there's
Perfect. You mentioned a few minutes ago, you said something like not being part of an ensemble. And I'm kind of curious, like I from my point of view, I think FK is one of the most successful ensembles in Seattle right now. You're all excellent. You consistently do excellent shows. Individually, you're all excellent performers.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious on, just your thoughts. And I'm not asking you to throw anyone under the bus or tear anything here, but like your thoughts on like, the improv ecosystem in Seattle and the Pacific Northwest, and how you feel about, is it your goal to get into one of the major ensembles? Because I've talked to performers who are like, no, I'm a free agent and I'm happy to be a free agent. Like, where do you stand on that whole mindset?
Yeah, I think that if it was the right ensemble for me, I'd love to be in it.
Yep.
Right. And there's so many really like strong options throughout the city. Obviously like I work a lot with UP, and so it's like I know what theater sports looks like, and I know what their like long forms look like, and I do tech, and I've performed in some of them, and so it would be amazing to be in the UP ensemble, and I certainly would love to. I think also like comedy sports, people love being in comedy sports. Like all of my friends who are doing that are having such a blast, and just anywhere where you are performing constantly, you're gonna just get fast.
Yeah.
You're gonna get faster. You're gonna get freer. You're gonna have more confidence. And for me, that's a huge thing that I like know that I want to continue to work on. Is just to find all these different ways that I can get reps in that are gonna make me believe more in myself.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I would say is the thing that I get in my own way, in my head, right? Because, sometimes I'm either just screaming in my head or I'm thinking to the point of just like being useless, right? I'm not letting just like things flow. And whenever things do flow, things are great. So I'm like, I know that I can do it.
Yeah.
Just getting more reps in.
That's such a common theme I've heard, is that just from other non-affiliated improvisers, that yes, there are ensembles that they love, but the thing they're really looking for is just more stage time. Yep. They just want more reps. They just want more opportunities to perform. And I think it's really interesting that so many people, like, their goal is not, I want to say I'm part of ensemble X or Y or Z necessarily. It's, I just want to perform.
Well, and I think that at that point, especially when you're earlier in your improv kind of like journey, building your skills and stuff, you're probably still, and that's like, a lot of, still for me, what I know I need to work on, more focused on the like, well, what do I get out of it?
Yeah.
And that's what, I guess that I'd love to see more of a focus from all parties on like, well, no, like what does the ensemble get out of their individual performance? Because I know that ensembles do feel that way.
Yeah.
Like that's why they cast people, is because, well, these people are going to make our ensemble great, and that's why we value them so much.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that that's probably just something that maybe becomes kind of a tipping point at one point, is the like, oh, what am I going to be able to give this ensemble? What am I going to be able to give this group? I know that I feel that way sometimes about shows, right? Individual shows. The sense of, I like when I was in The Haunting, it's like, well, I love haunted house movies.
Sure.
And I know that I, have really good connections with these performers. And so I think that I can give this show something that only I can give it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that sometimes when you talk about ensembles, especially, a show like comedy sports, a show like theater sports, sometimes when you're not a specifically like super strong short form person, yeah, I think that for me, when I'm thinking about that, I'm like, well, what would I guess that I would have to think long and hard about like, well, what's my unique contribution to a short form show?
Yeah.
And that's something certainly like worth thinking about.
Yeah.
I guess.
I think it's a great outlook.
Yeah.
I was just talking to someone recently about exactly that. Like, what's the unique thing that you bring?
Yeah.
Like, what's your talent? What are you good at? Some people are like, I can improvise a song, any song on the spot.
Yeah.
And I've got a great singing voice. And like, I'm in awe of those people.
Yeah.
One of whom is sitting right here. I think I'm mediocre at that at best, but like I try. But yeah, I think that's probably a lesson for everyone, is like, pick one thing that you think you might be good at, and if you can be the best at that thing.
Yeah.
In improv, like, great. If you've got the right troupe, you can lean on other people to be good at the other things, and then together as a whole, your ensemble is wonderful.
Yeah.
Whether it's 2 of you or 5 of you or 50 of you. Yeah. Yeah.
What are the things that you look at, Faith, that you look at for a show to be good? Like if you were to walk out of a show and turn to the person you were sitting with and be like, wow, that was a great show. What are those hallmarks?
I love when the audience is having fun. Like that's so huge for me. When the audience is just having a good time and feels really connected and feels really appreciated, I just think that is so, I love being a part of a show like that.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you tell that when that's happening? Because it's easy to tell that's happening after the fact, but when you're on stage, there's a different pH strip that you have to be able to use. And if you're only relying on, I hope that while they're walking on out, I hear them say that was a great show, then I feel like there's some recalibration that we need to do as on stage performers. What are the things that you're...
That's funny, because like I immediately was thinking like, well, when I'm in the booth, how do I know that it's a great show? So I was immediately even putting myself in this kind of like external observer position.
Sure.
Yeah.
And yet, I mean, but the thing is that as an external observer, even like in the booth, you're still improvising. You're still in the moment with the show, right? Like you are just as much as a contributor as the host, as the performers on stage.
But not the judges.
Yeah, but the judges, fuck the judges.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck the judges. As someone who's probably judging this weekend, fuck the judges, right? They're all assholes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that similar to what I was saying about, that show that Sonnet and I did, when I'm in a show, whether I'm in the booth or on stage, and I just know that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And I know that I can understand what you're going to do next. That's when I just know that it's like we are doing something so well, or when I can do something that I think is a little bit risky, that I think that you might not quite understand, but I think that you're going to understand it.
Yeah.
There was one show in The Haunting where I was playing Shanna and I think Mark Schoen's daughter. And the whole plot line was that I had a twin who died when we were very, very young. So I was probably like early 20s or something. Sure. But yeah, the whole thing was that there was a twin. And then at the very end of the show, I was, like off stage, and Shanna and I actually think it was Tony, they were like on stage having like an argument. And I was like, I'm gonna walk on stage, but I'm gonna be the sister. But how do you know that that's gonna work? How do you know that they're gonna understand that offer?
Yep.
Right? But they did. Like I walked on stage, I had like I was trying to be like, I'm going to walk like very lightly. I'm going to walk quite tall. I'm going to have like a certain kind of expression on my face that's like quite different than what I've been playing for the rest of the show. And that looks very like knowing and a little like worse than mischievous. Like that's the word that's coming, but something that's like a little more like diabolical kind of.
Yeah.
Right. But still like, I'm the same person. I didn't put on different clothes. I didn't do anything, right? And they completely understood. They got it right away. And it was such a beautiful, wonderful, fun ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, and that's the type of thing that I know when I'm watching a show, that's magic. And when I'm in a show and that works, I'm just like, how could people not think that this is so magic? Like, look, we knew this. We figured this out together, and we knew what the story needed together. Like that's how connected we were, and how much we know what makes this show really good.
Yeah.
So you said that you know a show is good when your audience is having a good time, when they're connected, when they're engaged. What are some other things? And I also, I'm extrapolating a little bit, but it seems like what I'm also hearing is a show is good when both you and your scene partner aren't being surprised by each other, but delighted by each other, where it doesn't seem like there's that moment of like being blindsided by an offer, but instead it's like, yeah, we're on the same page. We're sort of like, we're almost like in this like group mind together.
Well, and then that's also part of what makes that's the difference, right? That's what makes kind of like some scenes in some shows different than what you're looking for in others, right? Because that's the type of thing where when you're doing, there are some shows where that is what it is, and that's what's going to make it really magic. But then if you're doing something that is like, funny, then to be surprised by your scene partner is amazing and the best thing in the world. And be like, I had no idea that was coming.
Yeah.
And they're just different things that you're doing, right? Because on the one hand, when you're building something that is like, oh, we're building story on stage and we're doing it because we understand each other, we understand the offers, we understand the world that we're playing in. And so we're going to make this into something that's big and specific and interesting, and we're all making it up. That's kind of one world, and that can be in a short form. I think that it's like more typical in like a long form, particularly something that is a little more on the grounded side, if we're calling Haunted House grounded. But, like performance grounded type of thing. But no, I mean, I know the other week when we were in Spokane and Sonnet mentioned a farmer. And so I was like, oh, the farmer's going to want an animal. And so then I just came on stage. I was like, I don't know, I'll be a sheep. Like, that'll be fun. And then, no, I was the farmer. And so then I was on the ground, and then I stood up, and then
Because we all know James was supposed to play the animal.
Yeah,
right?
no, that was the...
And they were like, you can't
up.
take his role.
Because then he had to come on as like a bird, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just snaked it out from under him. You know what I mean? But no, it was a moment where it's like I like stood up and then someone was like, oh, you cleaning the floor? And then I had to get back down, right? And everything was just very all over the place. We're all just not quite on the same page, but not in a bad way. Just, like, but we're getting there. We're doing it. Look, like, we're playing. But but that also plays, like, when that is happening, then I can tell that the audience likes it.
Yeah.
I can tell the audience likes it. I can tell that we like it. I can tell that we're all having a good time. Yeah.
Switching a little bit, I would love to know, what was the most impactful or like the most effective note that you got from a teacher or a director, right?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
That is a very good question.
Listen, guys, I know I ask good questions.
I think he asks really good questions, don't you?
That's why he's on the podcast.
That's right. Chaz, has anyone told you? Geez, the best note, I don't know. People give great notes, and sometimes people give notes where you're like, I don't know what's happening.
Still say thank you notes.
Thank you notes. Yeah.
Thank you note. Thank you note. Yep.
I mean, no one in Seattle has ever given me a note that I thought was ridiculous, to be quite clear. Yeah.
But I guess I'm looking for like, what is like a piece of teaching or a moment where you as a as an improviser who was on stage heard something from someone who was more experienced and you went, oh wow, that switched the way I'm looking at things, or whatever that moment, right? Like we all have those like ripples. Like I remember Michael Bill's early in my theater sports career, someone had said they played a game for the first time. And they it got horned, they botched the game, and afterwards we were like, yeah, I mean, like listen to how the game is set up, or it was something, maybe it was the game was set up in a certain way and they were both playing it in two different ways and it ended up getting horned or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, can we do a workshop on that game? And Michael Bills, who was not giving notes, goes, well, we could only play a game for the first time once. He goes, so why not share that with an audience? Why do we have to practice these games in private to perfect them? He goes, because once you play it, you get the notes, and then all of a sudden now you're going to always play the game the way the game is supposed to be played. So why not play that game for the first time in front of an audience and share that moment? And it was such like a beautiful example of this, like, improviser who's been doing it for a while, who is someone who I continue to look up to. And like when I host theater sports, that is the man that I'm channeling, is Michael Bills. And just watching him play, like he is such a generous, enthusiastic, excited improviser who also shows up with so much wisdom as a performer, wisdom as an improviser who is just like free to fail. Yeah. And getting to hear him in that moment say, yeah, fuck it up.
Yeah.
Let the audience watch you make that mistake. And truly what he's asking is not for you to make a mistake, but for everyone else around you to say, oh, we see how this game is shifting, we're going to follow along. And it isn't this thing of, I want to see you make mistakes in improv. It's, I want to see everyone else find these accolades and make you successful in your failure, right? Yeah. And it's sort of this like, it's this like mirrored like reflection of Dave Morris saying that every accident is an offer you didn't intend to make. Yeah. And so when, like such an early note that I got as an improviser, just overhearing him say, why not play a game you can only play a game for the first time once. So why not share that with the audience? Was such a beautiful thing that I feel like I'm continuing to like allow blossom and to unpack like, wow, a depth of just this sort of offhand thing that he had said. And in fact, I was at the bar with him, I think 2 weekends ago, and was like, you had said this thing and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, I love that. And so in that way, like what is something that you have received as an improviser that you were like, that's good, I'm holding on to that?
Yeah, it's funny because like I feel bad because I know that I've received so many things.
Sure.
Like even this week, like Jacqueline led the workshop at UP, and she said some really amazing things. Yeah. And I know she said some things that I was like, that's a nugget that like I'm going to take, and then I didn't write it down. Yeah. But one of them was just the idea of like, how do we respect our audience when they might be kind of tired, or when they might be, when it might be small, like how do we make sure that we're not asking for a scar story when there's only 4 people in the audience? Right. But no, I mean, I think that just from the top, the idea of like, you do something and then you throw it away. It doesn't matter. Right. You do something, you do it to your best of your abilities, but then it's gone. And then there's a new scene, there's a new day, there's a new show. There's a new line, right? And thinking of that for myself, and thinking of that also for like my scene partners, right? This idea of like, I didn't really like. I'm confused by what you just said, or maybe like what you just said. I actually like. I don't really like that for thing X, Y, and Z, but like, we're going to keep going. Right. And that's gone. And we don't have to keep, if it's something where I'm like, I didn't like where that was going, I can steer it away. Yeah. And if that's something where, obviously like I wasn't really happy with my performance in a scene, or like I gave a bad offer, or I was totally lost at one point. I did the thing where I just paused for a really long time. Then at the end of it, it's like, okay. And like, that's out the window. That doesn't mean that I'm not a good performer. That doesn't mean that, I don't have a good connection with this person I was on stage with. And that doesn't mean that anything about that scene was particularly bad. It's gone now. And we can go on to the next one, and the next one will be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do a lot of duos. Do you do duos with?
What was your favorite duos where someone came on the stage shirtless?
Oh my God. That was like, because what was it? Chaz, I don't know if you were there for that, but it was.
I was.
Okay. Because it was that someone towards the beginning of the show had set up like, we're going to play like this made up game that's like underwater spaceship in Germany or something, right? Like it was some combination of words. And then me and Sean were like, let's do that game. Like, let's make it up.
Space horror.
Space horror.
That's what it was.
And so, first of all, Cynthia went on stage, I think with Thomas.
She and Thomas did a great scene.
And they like also were like, we're going to do like this game. And they made up their own rules for it.
Yep.
And we were like, we don't care. We're going to also go on and make up our own rules. And so
I think 3 different groups made up rules for space horror.
It was great.
It was great.
That was the night.
My God.
That was the night that Isaiah.
It was.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
Because the thing was, I think what it may have been Shannon, but I don't think so. I don't feel like it was, but I know Shannon loves to ask everyone who comes on stage some fun question. That's like a theme of the night. But the theme of the night was, what is a game that you hope to see that you're not going to do?
That's right. That's right.
And so Obadiah and I collected all of those games, and we're like, great, we're going to play every game that people did not see and they wanted to be able to do. Right. And so a game that someone had like just offhand that was like space horror. Yeah. And so a fuck ton of people were like, we're going to do a space horror scene.
So
no, but that's so towards we were talking like a while ago, still today, but a while ago. No, we were talking about blackout scenes.
Yeah.
And then there's another where it's like, oh, like what are some ways that I know that a scene needs to end?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one scene where Isaiah was like trying to goad every person on stage into saying the N-word. Like just really like, I don't know what it was, but it was one of those, and at one point he was like screaming at Shannon, and it almost looked like she was going to say it. And that was my like, okay, I'm going to pull it now, because like it almost looks like it's going to happen.
God bless. God bless that instinct to say that I am not going to let this very white performer have to say the
never
N-word.
would have said it.
She
but
never would have.
Never.
But you want the audience to know that they're
Yes.
in danger, and you never want to watch the audience go, oh, they're playing it safe now. They're
Yes.
wimping out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jill gave a very nice note at the end of that. Jill Ferris at the end, she was just like, and thank you very much, Faith, for ending that scene.
So great. So great.
No, but that was the most terrifying duo. And that's what I asked for. I said, please scare me on stage. I thought someone was going to like hide and, jump from behind.
Well, that's what. I'm so terrible with names.
It's
Yeah,
Chaz.
You are
My name
terrible
is
with names.
Chaz.
Yeah,
No.
it was close, not you. Yeah, so you asked for volunteers, and generally when I'm in the audience and people are asking for volunteers, I will sit pat and count to 5.
Yeah.
And there were no hands going up.
Oh, it was longer than 5.
And
Yep.
usually at that point, I am like, I revert to my inner improviser, and I'm like, I want to make these people look good. Like, I'll put my hand up. Please know that you can trust me. Like, whatever you want to do, I will do my best to like support you. But then you hadn't announced yet what you were going to do.
Nope.
And then I got up on stage, and you're like, your job is to terrify me. And I thought instantly, like, what's the most terrifying thing I can do?
Yep.
And it was come out on stage without my shirt on.
Yep.
Because I have a terrifying body. So yeah. So there it was.
Because you were just like rubbing your stomach.
I was totally, It was my belly was like the summation of my character, and I'm like,
And you were like, my dad.
that because you'd established something about like having a kid or something.
Yeah.
And then I think I came out and I was like, is that my grandson? And that was the whole thing. I just wanted to terrify you. Just wanted to terrify you.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mission accomplished. Improv.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, to the question that I was going to ask. When you were on stage doing...
Is it going to be a good question, Chaz?
Yeah, I'm anticipating it to be the greatest question yet.
Okay.
So we can edit out any of the silence.
What? 30-second pregnant pause. What a great question. Dead silence.
We call it belly rubbing pauses.
the belly rubbing pauses. Is that a good question?
That's my favorite tell that that an improviser is pregnant is when they come on with a hand on their belly. That's
Well, because
it.
otherwise it doesn't work. Because I know one time I tried to put my hands on top of the belly,
Yeah, no.
and no one got it. You
Nope.
got to be under.
Yeah.
Yep. You have to be supporting the weight of the baby.
Yeah.
Yes, because
Yeah.
that's otherwise it just falls.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
uh-huh.
audience will have no idea what's going on.
One in front, one below. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least some support.
Yeah.
It's a heavy baby.
Yeah.
And
It's
you
a
have to
heavy
be
baby.
like, 7 months pregnant.
Always. Because it's like, you're
How
not
are you gonna
pregnant.
be?
Yeah.
And then
Well,
you're
at
7
3
months.
months you're not pregnant.
No.
Everyone knows that.
According to Planned Parenthood.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, as a very liberal Seattle-based podcast,
I think that was a liberal take. I don't know.
totally,
Don't think too
100%.
hard. Let's not think too hard about it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I will say. So I will go to. So I'm gonna leverage this right now for a
Please
moment
do.
and go back to our blackout scenes. After this podcast, after we're done recording, please remind me what I was going to say other than blackout scene, because it was something I was really struggling to figure out what I was going to say. It is a blackout scene. We were talking about blackout scenes.
We're talking about blackout scenes.
And to this point right here, I think what's beautiful about the blackout scene is that it leverages the audience's creativity and storytelling. And that's something that I that I want out of more, whether it's the MC whistling or whether it's just the lights editing it out, is this idea that we're all, and when I mean we are all, I mean people on stage and the people, obviously the booth, the MC, the judges, but also the people in the house, right? We are all storytellers organically. Like we've grown up with these stories, and we just know when a story needs to end. And so to end it just before the resolution of the story, because our audience then is going to be telling the rest of the story. And it's that moment right as the person says, do I clip the red wire or the blue wire? And they go, you're just going to have to make a decision. And they go, all right, it'll be the blue wire, blackout.
Yep.
And that moment, right? And then the audience, every person in the audience goes, oh, well, this obviously happened.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of the blackout scene, and the beauty of leveraging the audience as storyteller is it is the most implicit way that we invite the audience to be an improviser with us, is we say, you're telling the story and we trust you with this story. That when we say, all right, then I'm clipping the blue wire, and we black it out, the audience isn't going to be like, what the fuck happened though? What do you mean? I'm so lost.
Yeah.
Did puppies show up?
Right.
Right? Like, no. Right?
It's a very Randy Dixon thing, and it ties back to what you said before about doing a show where you're like, oh yeah, we told this great narrative, and everyone else was like, no, it was all random. Like the audience is a step ahead of you, and they're gonna put together a story in their head, and they're gonna say like, oh, well, it was so great how you set up this, and this, and this, and you can just say, yep, thank you, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And was it happening in the moment? Like, no, maybe you were planting seeds, and some of them got picked up, and it wound up in a great story. But totally, like it's like let the audience tell their story. Because it'll be 50% better than whatever you could come up with on stage.
Yeah.
So to get to the question that I was going to ask about
yes, which is going to be a great
really
question.
Good question.
Yeah, it's such a good question.
Yeah.
Maybe the best question I've ever asked.
Best question tonight.
At least the best question tonight.
Yeah.
Which is when you are on stage and you are on stage with an improviser who you feel is like in the same caliber as you, an improviser who you're like, you recognize has like far more experience, or an improviser who you're like, they are far fresher at improv. What are the different things that you are thinking of on stage when you're with someone who you like trust, you feel like you're like, we're in this together, someone who is further down the road, or someone who is like much newer? What are those things that you are like on stage thinking about?
As we've established, only screams.
Yep.
Yeah. But.
And so is that what you would recommend for other improvisers, is when they're on stage, when they're about to jump on stage, is just think screams? Because it feels similar to what Cynthia Lair was talking about of before you're on stage. She says if she has an idea, she's going to wipe the idea and genuinely put a hand to her forehead and wipe it from her thoughts, is a more efficient way to just start screaming.
Well, because then it just pushes everything else out. Yeah.
What's bigger than a scream?
What's bigger than a scream? Maybe a giraffe.
Yeah. But a giraffe is already going to be kissing a person. Yeah. And a scream.
And that's an idea.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
A scream is no idea. No, okay. What a good question, Chas.
That was an excellent question.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And this isn't us cutting 30 seconds out of silence. Which the audience will have no idea whether we did or didn't.
Think of something.
When I'm with someone who, like, I think is kind of like in the same place as me, definitely that's just the most kind of like freeing, you know, and that's just like, that's a me thing, right? Of just being like, I trust them, they trust me, we're just going to have fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like an assignment at all. It feels like we're just having a good time. But yeah, like I think that, you know, when I'm working with someone who's much more experienced than me, I get more nervous because there is this sense of like, oh, if it goes south, that's probably on me, or like, oh, I don't know. I feel more pressure. Because there's also, you know, a sense of like, oh, do I need to like impress them? Right. But, you know, there's also just such a sense of like, just safety for the scene of like, well, I know that like they're going to take care of me. And so I know that, you know, I'm not nervous for how the audience is going to perceive me. I'm just nervous that they're going to hate me. They're going to walk off stage and be like, Faith, why are you so terrible? You stupid, stupid juvenile. But you learn a lot, right? You learn how stupid and juvenile you are. No, I really like, I mean, I do like to work with people who are much more experienced than me, obviously. But I think that just internally I get more nervous to do that. Yeah. And then similarly, if I am on stage with someone who, you know, I'm like, oh, like I have a couple more years of experience, more what I'm thinking is, oh no, they're going to think that I'm going to be so helpful and wonderful. And what if I can't do that? Like, because I want to be that person that all of these other people have been for me. Right? So,
Because I was just thinking, like, as you were saying, like, oh man, when I'm on stage with someone who's far more experienced, and, you know, I've been doing improv for 20 years. I am, you know, a teacher with UP. I've been doing it for a little while. And what's funny is I was like, oh, wow, I have never gotten off stage with an improviser who's been doing it for less time than me and thought, man, they really fucked it up. If the scene tanks, I'm like, oh man, I really botched that. Like, I should have been a better support. Right? And it's this idea of like, yeah, if that scene tanks, that's on me. And so that mirroring that same feeling of, I
think that, I mean, it's always, you're up there to have fun, but certainly, especially like we're all people who want to grow and who want to get better and who want to support other people in their growth and getting better. And so I think like anything, you know, when you're doing something that you kind of perceive as like, oh, this action has more likelihood to have an impact. And so performing with someone who you're going to learn a lot from is going to be, at least for me, you know, like something that I'm going to be thinking more about, and that, like might be more nerve-wracking, but it's because it's this thing where it's like, oh, I know that I want to be getting something out of this. And the same, like, you know, if there's someone who's just starting classes, then I want them to get something out of it. And I know that like I'll also get something out of it, right? But, you know, then when I'm performing with someone who's just like, we're in the same place, you're going to get so much out of that, but it doesn't feel the same kind of like structured kind of situation of like, it just feels much more like, but like we're both here and we're having fun. And it doesn't feel so much like, well, someone's having a teachable moment here. I
love how you called it an assignment. And I agree 100%. And I felt that. There's a performer who I respect a lot, and I won't name them. But they said, you know, every time you're on stage, it's an audition. And in some sense, I was like, yeah, okay, I get that, and I agree with that. And in another sense, I've turned off that part of my brain where I'm just like, no, from the second I get on stage, all I want to do is make everyone else on stage look good and do as good a scene as possible. And I have to turn off my, how does this reflect on me as a performer brain, and just do the scene. And do the scene, and like whether there's people with 20 years experience or 6 months experience like that I'm performing with, just do the best scene I can. And then when I get off stage, okay, then I might re-engage that. But like that moment from when I step on stage, like that will be the screaming. That will be the screaming constantly if I'm just thinking like, is this going to get me in this troupe? Is this person going to look at me and think I'm an idiot? No, I'm here to do a scene.
Yeah.
I'm here to do a scene about whatever offer came from the audience and whatever happens here. And that's it. And I have to squish that down.
Yeah. I get that note. And I think it's wildly bullshit. Like, because no one's making a living wage doing this. So, like, what's the audition for? Like, what's at stake? And so this idea of, like, every time you're on stage, it's an audition is like, okay, for what? Putting a lot of time into $20 a show? You know, like, okay. Oh, no. Like, what a way to just put someone in their head.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think this particular performer is stellar.
Sure.
But different people have different goals. Like some people, like they to the earlier point, like they want to be on stage all the time, or they want the recognition of like I got into troupe X, Y, or Z, or whatever it winds up being. So different people have different goals.
Yeah.
But I for myself, I have gotten to the point where like I want to do what you're saying. I want to feel like we're all peers, regardless of level of experience, and just have fun and give the audience a fun time.
Yeah.
And it's so important to make sure like I'm just doing good work so the audience can have a fun time. Because I enjoy being on stage, as you clearly do and you clearly do. But we're also performing. It's not just about, it's not therapy for us. We're putting on a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, they pay money.
Yep.
People work really hard for their money.
Yep.
And like people don't have free time. And so every time that, I'm in a show, I'm working a show, I'm even going to like see a show, and I can tell that the audience is just like floored to be there and that they're being appreciated by the actors and that they're being taken care of and that there are these callbacks that the audience can like grasp onto, and there's, they're playing too. That's what we're doing, right? We're supposed to be doing something, even if, we're doing something that's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
I went to see a play last week called Appropriate at the Seattle Rep. It was a family drama. And like it's scripted, it was lovely. It was absolutely beautiful. And very heavy topics.
Yeah.
And really still very, very funny and light at times.
Yep.
And I just thought, wow, this show is really taking care of the audience.
Yep.
Even in a show that is saying so much, that has really like difficult themes, they're really taking care of the audience, and they're making sure that like, we've come, we've taken the time out of our Wednesday evening to come to a show. We've paid for the tickets, and you're making this into something that's like, we're not just leaving like, wow, that was a lot, right? Yeah. We're leaving like that show really meant a lot. And also like, I had fun.
Yeah.
You know? And the actors were having fun. Like, I love a show when it's like, even when it's like heavy drama, it's like everyone's having a good time. Like, I feel like, I've seen a Four Hearts show where, everyone's just yelling and screaming and having so much fun doing it. Yeah. And the audience loves that too, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as we're wrapping on up, which I feel like I say every single time.
I like it.
Are you going to get a little sting?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's my little saying. As we're wrapping on up.
Yeah. Good question.
As you're looking at the Seattle improv scene, as you're looking at the Pacific Northwest, what is something that you would love to see change or grow in the next 5 or 10 years in this improv scene?
I think that we are doing ourselves a real disservice by saying over and over and over again, you're never going to make any money doing this. I think that we're cheapening it. I think that it's worthwhile to be realistic, but I also think that we're really discounting the amazing work that is happening all across the city and how much goes into it, how much energy and thought and work and money, right?
Yeah.
Like how much, we all spend on classes and on coaches and on workshops and on theater space and on going to shows, on books. These are things that people do for their profession, right? Is they put all this work, this money, and this time into something. And, I think that it's great to be realistic about something, but I don't think that we all have to completely just succumb to that idea that like this will never be something where you could make a portion of your income doing it. I think that we have so many really talented and creative people doing so many amazing shows that, things could be different.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I would love it if Seattle was a place where performers could make a good income doing what they do.
Yeah.
Faith, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was really delightful.
Yeah,
Thanks,
what a
guys.
blast.
Yeah.
And
Lots
thanks-
of good questions.
And thank you. Thank you for I try and ask good questions. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Cascade Improv Podcast. If you want to if you have a theater, or if you if you have a theater, or if you are an improviser in the Pacific Northwest and you want to be on the podcast, then feel free to reach out to Cascade Improv Podcast at gmail.com. And if you want to bring Paul and or I out to do a show or teach a workshop, we would love to. I've got a current workshop coming on up where I'm talking about the different power levels on stage, and Paul would love to teach a workshop. He's got this workshop that he's been working on right now, which is the theremin and how it informs a scene, and how an improviser can use such an improvisational instrument to really be the third improviser on stage.
It's really all about hand position.
It's hand stuff is what it is. That's what the workshop is called. It's called Paul and his hand stuff.
Thank you for that, Chaz.
Absolutely. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all on the next episode of
Cascade Improv Podcast. And tonight's episode has been sponsored by the letter N.
I have to look back now. Ooh, yeah.
The Cascade Improv Podcast is produced by Paul Furio and Chaz Kaskis. Musical backing is provided by Anomi Bell, whose music can be found online at anomibell.bandcamp.com.